Jesus is dealing, it wasn't all fig trees, it was, and I'm quoting here from the New International Commentary in the book of Matthew, by speaking of a single fig tree rather than just a fig tree, Matthew probably intended to alert the readers that this tree, perhaps standing on its own, was unlike the others, which at the season would not have been fully developed leaves. Now he goes on, excuse me, in his commentary and says, the reader who recognizes the symbolism outlined above may reflect the failure of God's people has reached a point of no return, as in Matthew chapter 23, verses 29 through 36, which spell out the accumulation of centuries of rebellion is to come upon this generation. Jesus cursing, because one of the symbols of Israel was a fig tree. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's an olive tree, sometimes it's a fig tree. Jesus walks up to a fig tree that represents the Jews of his century that had replaced the teachings of God with their own teachings. They were no longer being obedient to heaven. They didn't even know heaven if it actually walked up and slapped them upside the head. And God was getting ready to judge it, and he says, I'm getting ready to curse it because they're bearing no fruit. There's no kingdom fruit in what they're doing. And when you look at not only the 400 years, the intertestamental period between Malachi and Matthew, you end up with the Hashmonean Empire, which were the descendants of the Maccabees. And it got to the place where they were killing each other, to the place that Rome had to step in and say, you can't even govern yourselves. We're going to have to step in to govern. That's why the Roman Empire was in Jerusalem in the times of Jesus. And you had a power structure. At first, you had two different groups begin raising up theologians that had no biblical authority to function. Who were the ones that were supposed to teach the Word of God according to the Torah? It was the Levites. That was their function, okay? They're judged in Malachi because they were teaching the people what they wanted to hear instead of what they needed to hear. God judged them. And that vacuum, the Pharisees and the Sadducees were also descendants of the Maccabees, began to rise into power.